1800 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Aisha Nayab. First, the headlines. Foreign Minister says Islamabad has provided irrefutable evidence of Indian state-sponsored terrorism in Pakistan to the international community in the form of a dossier. Pakistan has called upon the United Nations to seek immediate release of Kashmiri human rights activist and political leader Asian Darabi, incarcerated in infamous Tihar jail in India. Inter-provincial education ministers meeting will be held tomorrow to review second wave of COVID-19 and decide about reopening of educational institutions. Pakistan International Airlines has announced to resume its regular passenger flight service to Saudi Arabia. 11 coal miners were martyred in a terrorist attack in Mach district of Balochistan this morning. British government is likely to impose tougher lockdown restrictions in the country as COVID-19 cases are rising. And now the news in detail. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says India is sponsoring terrorism in Pakistan to destabilize it. Talking to media in Multan today, he said Pakistan has exposed the nefarious designs of India by providing irrefutable evidence in the form of a dossier to the international community. The Foreign Minister said India has been defaming Pakistan through running fake NGOs and websites. Shah Mahmood Qureshi urged the international community to take notice of Indian atrocities and human rights violation in the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan has called upon the United Nations to seek immediate release of Kashmiri human rights activist and political leader Asian Darabi, incarcerated in infamous Tihar jail in India. In a statement today, Foreign Office spokesperson Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry said Pakistan has approached the United Nations Secretary General in New York and the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights in Geneva to seek immediate release of Asian Darabi. It has been highlighted that Asian Darabi's life is in danger owing to imminent risk of persecutory conviction by a sham court in 18 January last year. She has been under illegal and inhumane incarceration for more than 15 years on fabricated charges under draconian laws and at further perpetuating India's illegal occupation of the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir through brutalization of the Kashmiri people. Pakistan has called upon the United Nations to urge India to drop all fabricated charges against Asian Darabi, her husband and her associates and provide them complete legal protection. Islamabad has also urged the world body to pressure India to release all detainees in the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir and fully implement all recommendations of the two reports on Kashmir by UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, including the establishment of a UN Commission of Inquiry. Minister for Communications Murad Saeed says Prime Minister Imran Khan has been striving hard to uplift a weaker segment of the society while the opposition leaders are busy in protecting their hereditary politics. In a live broadcast today, he said the people of Pakistan have rejected the illegal conceit politics of the opposition aimed at safeguarding corruption of its leadership. The minister said the past rulers lived in the palatial PM house besides setting up many camps office for themselves but never bothered for the homeless people living on the roads. Ministry of Climate Change has scaled up to over 200,000 green jobs under Green Economic Stimulus Package, 10 billion tree tsunami project and Clean Green Pakistan movement during the last 1 year. This was stated by Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Climate Change, Malik Amin Aslam, in an exclusive interview with APP. He said one of the biggest interventions of the government was the 10 billion tree tsunami program aimed to increase the forest covered by planting 3.22 billion trees in Phase 1. He said the initiative is expected to yield 1 million jobs in next 4 years. Meeting of the Inter-Provincial Education Ministers will be held via video link tomorrow, with Minister for Federal Education and Professional Training Shafkat Mahmood in the chair. The forum will discuss the prevailing situation of second wave of COVID-19 and reopening of educational institutions across the country. The meeting will also deliberate upon beginning of a new academic session from August and reduction of spring and summer vacations. Punjab government imposed marked lockdown in several areas of Lahore, Gujranwala and Multan today to control coronavirus pandemic. According to spokesperson of the Provincial Primary and Secondary Healthcare Department, the smart lockdown has been imposed in the areas from where excessive corona cases have been reported. This is Radio Pakistan. Pakistan International Airlines has announced to resume its regular passenger flight service to Saudi Arabia. A spokesman of the airline in a statement today asked the passengers with their seat already booked or those intending to fly to Saudi Arabia to approach their nearest office or contact the call center via 111 786 786. The spokesman said those intending to fly to Saudi Arabia should ensure their corona PCR test conducted only at facilities approved by the Saudi government. Saudi Arabia has resumed entry into kingdom by sea, land and air today after a ban that lasted 2 weeks in order to prevent spread of the new coronavirus variant. A Ministry of Interior official said that some restrictions will remain in force, including asking people coming from countries where the new variant spread, such as the UK, South Africa and any others, to stay at least 14 days out of these countries before entering the kingdom. At least 11 coal miners were martyred when terrorists opened fire on them in much area of Balochistan this morning. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Imran Khan, while condemning the incident, said it is yet another cowardly, inhumane act of terrorism. In a tweet today, the Prime Minister said he has asked the FC to use all resources to apprehend the killers and bring them to justice. He said the families of the victims will not be left abandoned by the government. Balochistan Chief Minister Jam Kamal has also strongly condemned the terrorist attack and sought a report about the incident. In a statement, he said the attempt to derail peace in the province will not be allowed and those who targeted innocent miners do not deserve any mercy. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Hurriyat leaders and organizations, while strongly condemning the killing of 3 innocent youth in a fake encounter by the Indian troops at Lower Pura in Srinagar on Wednesday, have termed the gruesome incident as part of well-planned genocide by the Kashmiri people. According to Kashmir Media Service, Jammu and Kashmir People's Movement Chairman Mir Shahid Salim and Jammu and Kashmir Social Peace Forum Chairman Davinder Singh Bahil, while addressing the party workers separately, said Indian troops enjoying impunity under draconian Armed Forces Special Powers Act to slaughter Kashmiris. Jammu and Kashmir Freedom Front, Jammu and Kashmir Mass Movement and Tehreek-e-Wahdat-e-Islami in their statements in Srinagar said that Narendra Modi's regime is writing a horrible history of crimes against humanity in the occupied territory. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said that tougher lockdown restrictions are likely to be imposed as COVID-19 cases keep rising. In an interview with BBC, he said that there are obviously a range of tougher measures that would considered but did not mention what that would be. Boris Johnson said that schools are safe places and children should continue to attend where permitted. Chinese Foreign Minister Zhang Yi says China will continue to build a new type of international relations and we will work to cement solidarity and friendship with neighbors and other developing countries. Introducing China's diplomacy in 2021 in an interview, he said China will continue to work for a community with a shared future for mankind. He said we will seek to realize a global community of health for all and a community with a shared future in the Asia Pacific. And finally, the weather. Rain thunderstorm with snowfall over hills is expected in Islamabad, Upper Central Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan, Kashmir and adjoining hilly areas where fog is likely in South Punjab at isolated places during the next 12 hours. Cold and dry weather is expected elsewhere in the country. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletin on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News.